Yo, this is WSoul13 bringing you Raid Shadow Legends. And today I'm going to be showing you how to beat and farm Griffin Boss on floor 90 hard, the hardest version of Griffin Boss for this rotation of Doom Tower, right? So, how do you build your team? What's your mindset when you're building your team? What roles do you want to fill? We're going to be talking about it today. It's actually pretty easy, right? So, why would you want to farm Guardian set in the first place? So if you looked at my video yesterday, which was me putting Guardian set on Under Priest Brogni for Clan Boss, that literally extended the Clan Boss run for the whole team a full 5 or 6 turns. So that's like 2 rounds of Clan Boss attacks, right? 2 full rounds of Clan Boss attacks. That's what it did. Just one champ in Guardian set. So that's how powerful it is, right? So if you put it in the right kind of Clan Boss team, the not unkillable Clan Boss builds, right? So the standard ones where you use decrease attack and you have like damage mitigation, like increased defense, ally protect, you know. Guardian set mimics ally protect, which is 10%, but up to 10% only, not half. So ally protect, I think, does 50% of the damage. Guardian does 10%. And you can do this on top of Ally Protect, I think. But in my build in particular, I don't even have Ally Protect on my Clan Boss comp, right? That's how strong it was to have just one set of Guardian gear on one of your champs for Clan Boss. So this is where you get those pieces. You get it from Griffin Boss, all right? So let me put my head a little bit lower so you can see the debuff bar. Right. So I think there's a difference in pushing versus farming as in terms of like building comps for it, right? When you're pushing, you're like playing on manual mostly, and you're like looking for things that will give you an edge. So more RNG type things, you know, like things that can really make a difference in terms of RNG. So you want like extra turns proccing, maybe on a Relentless set. You know, you want reflex gear maybe to get some extra cooldowns going. So there are some things that you can do, you know, to make a team that can't win on auto win on manual, right? There's so many things. The AI isn't that greatest in Raid, obviously. That being said, when you're farming, it has to be on auto. Like that's a no-brainer, right? So it's possible that you've beaten floor 90 before, but your team can't farm on auto. Plenty of reasons for that. One of the main reasons is that Griffin Boss takes all your buffs away and then transfers all your debuffs back to you. So if you can't survive those two things happening to you, if your team isn't resilient enough for that, you have to go from floor 90 to floor 50, then floor 10, and maybe you're farming normal. And if you watched my video yesterday, farming normal, perfectly viable. Right, perfectly viable for Raid Shadow Legends, because in terms of like gearing somebody out in Guardian gear just for Clan Boss, you don't exactly need 6-star pieces. 5-star pieces are just fine as long as you roll speed on the top row, and you need at least one bottom row piece to roll HP percentage or depth percentage, which is, you know, gloves, chest, boots. One of those 3 has to roll HP percentage and depth percentage, not necessarily roll speed along with it. So check out my video yesterday if you're curious about that, right? So let's go to the rolls, right? First one is you want an HP burn champ. HP burn is one of the most consistent ways to damage these hard Doom Tower bosses, right? So I think the cap on the HP burn damage is not as bad as the cap on the poison damage, so it takes away a lot of life. And to me, the best one, obviously, Drex is it Blood Twin or something, whatever his last name is. Drex, which you can get from the Tag Team Arena Bazaar, you know. So in about 200 days of playing, so shortly after you get Syl, it's very, very doable to have Drex in your team by then. You know, it's 1 fragment a day, 100, how many gold it is, whatever gold it is to get that one fragment from the bazaar. It takes 100 days, but you know, Me, it took me a lot longer because you gotta remember to buy the fragments and all that jazz. But yeah, Drex is really good here. Defense-based champ, so he does two things. One, he's the wrong affinity for this version of Griffin Boss. And that's great because the Griffin Boss ends up attacking him a lot on the single target hits. And since he's beefy, because you're building him as a defense type champ, he can withstand a lot of hits, right? And then you can put like Master Hexer on him to increase the burn duration right there. You can go up to 3 turns. It's really, really good, right? And even if the boss transfers all the debuffs to you, like exactly what happened here, you still have the chance to put HP burn on, you know? So those are really, really strong things that you can do to get you through Griffin Boss. And your team, if you're building a farming team, has to be able to withstand a 20 stack, full stack Griffin Boss, right? So some people, they can like blast through with like heavy, resilient type champs and just deal a lot of damage really quick and just get 20 stacks and that's it, win. But for me, it's a 3 to 4 minute run and I'm like up maybe like 3-5 turns deep into the 20 stack Griffin Boss before I end up getting the kill. So let's talk about the other slots you want in the team. So the second most important role, and probably is maybe the most important role as well, depending on the quality of the champ you get, is a block debuff champ. So your block debuff champ has to be built very, very tanky, has his own sustain probably, so maybe like a regen set or even guardian set, right? He could be the guy in guardian set for you, but he has to be built very, very tanky, right? And the reason why you want your block debuff champ to be built tanky is because you want him to be able to put on that block debuff at some point, right? So here we are, we're at 20 stack, and I'm left with Underpriest, Brogni, and Rotos. All right, so I'll explain what each champ does on the team and what you can do to replace those champs, if ever. So these two can pretty much duo the boss, right? It's just, it makes the runs a little bit smoother for me if I'm able to kind of like do my initial pieces of damage early on and then have them kind of like clean up the rest, right? So really, the best in slot here in terms of block debuff is things like Duchess. Duchess would be amazing because the AoE mitigate damage thing. So anything that mitigates AoE damage is good. So Duchess, Rector Draft probably would be good here. But really, you want the block debuffs on, right? So here we go. So the team is about to peter out right here. See? So this is exactly why you want to build a team that has enough juice to basically do enough damage to get the Griffin Boss down to here, where your guy can have a chance to finish him off. Like right here, Rotos is having a little bit of a tough time getting the last few hits in. Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? It's a little bit close. We failed on that one. So this is the first time I've seen the comp fail, which is fine. So when you're doing a auto type build, right, it doesn't have to be 100%. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if it's like 80, 90%, it's fine because you're just leaving it on auto, which is exactly why you build comps like this. You build comps like this, you can farm. And then on the flip side of that is you're going to get enough materials to maybe do 4 to 6 pieces of 5 to 6 star Guardian gear, right? So, one of the best champs for this particular slot is Underpriest Brogni, right? So he gives you block debuffs, he gives you shield, healing, remove debuff, and then I think remove buff, but that doesn't really come into play with the Griffin Boss in particular. In the waves, it does. And then the other two damage mitigation champs I have, or carry type champs, is Iron Brago, gives me a little passive defense increase, and then Seal of the Drakes, who gives me all the things Seal of the Drakes does for your team: healing, stuns for the waves, decrease speed, which is great on the boss, And then finally, your fourth slot. So the first four slots are pretty much kind of like baked in as carry champs. And these just happen to be free champs or fusion champs that you could have gotten throughout the year. The fourth slot is best as the right affinity or strong affinity boss killer champ. So this could be Ninja, this could be Frozen Banshee, this could be Kale, you know. Basically anybody that can put poisons out, that can deal a lot of damage, that can stay alive. You want that champ to be your fifth slot. Let's talk about speeds. How fast do you think my team is going? So for a lot of builds, the auto builds, right? They build something like 250 speed, and everybody's on 250 speed. You don't need to go that fast. To be honest, you really don't need to go that fast. You need to be tough. You need to have a lot of defensive stats, right? I'm going to show you the builds. Drexar and Syl are hard Doom Tower built champs, and they have some pretty beefy stats. You know, not top tier, but definitely enough to where they're champs that can clear floor 119 hard waves. You know, so these are like end game Doom Tower builds for the both of them. Iron Brago and Underpriest Brogni are built for Clan Boss, right? So you're getting a little bit of overlap here. They're built for Clan Boss, and they can also farm for you in Griffin Boss, right? And then finally, Rotos is built as my safety for Ice Golem farming. So I have a Seer blow up everything in the waves team, and then when I get to the Ice Golem boss, Rotos is the champ I'm hoping kills Ice Golem, right? And the cool thing about that is that Rotos is one of those like really tanky boss killer type champs. You know, of course, everybody knows him as an arena god, right? But honestly, he is, to me, I'm using him more for PvE, and that's his best role in PvE, as the boss killer type guy that stays alive with lifesteal set and stays alive during the fight, right? So, my Rotos is actually really slow. I think he's 160 something speed, 170 something speed. Iron Brago and Underpriest Brogni are built for my Brognimancer comp, which is a non-unkillable clan boss team that can 2-key Ultra Nightmare, 1-key Nightmare, 1-key Brutal, all on the same speed, all on full auto, right? And the speed is 171 to 179, so they're not very fast, yo. They're not very fast. So I'm getting through this with tankiness and with HP burn, ticks, you know, a little bit of final push with Underpriest Brogni and Rotos as my boss killer for the last part of the fight after he gets to 20 stacks, right? So this is a good example of, he's getting to 20 stacks right here, right? And I'm just trying to get that last bit of health away with my Underpriest Brogni and my Rotos. This is where their slow speeds hurt me, right? So if I were going to buff somebody's speed in this comp, and I'm building for this comp particularly, the boss killer slot, so that fifth slot, I'm going to want that guy to be very fast, like 250, 230 to 250-ish. So he always goes first, or he has a chance to go 2 turns, right? So we're going to be taking a look at the builds right now, and then I'm going to show you just how efficient that farming strategy is first, right? So we go to Guardian set. All right, check this out. So I just did my 15 keys yesterday, and I got 29 legendary Guardian set fragments, right? So now I have 35, so I've gotten 6 so far from that little burst I did, right? So it's very RNG dependent. So in a day, I think you could probably make maybe 4 pieces or 6 pieces the most. Maybe even less, like 2 or 4 or 3. But definitely, you're going to get a 5 or 6 star piece if you're farming floor 90. No problem. That's very, very expected and very doable. So let's take a look at how I built these guys and how you would want to build them. 2, why Drex is so good. So Drex is good because of this, right? Increase allied accuracy by 70, so that eases your accuracy requirements, so not everybody needs to have the insane 340 accuracy or whatever you need to get through to the last part of Doom Tower. Let's take a look at the stats. So this Drex is on regen set, right? So that does help his tankiness a little bit. But honestly, later on, I might re-gear this Drex to put him on provoke set, because I'm trying something different with him in the waves. We'll see if it works, right? If it doesn't, I'll just put him back on this regen set. But these are the stats: 69,000 HP, 3.2k def, crit rate and crit damage, not really important. Speed is over 200, 202. And then 250 on the accuracy. This could be a little bit higher, so you want that as close to 300 as you can, even with the plus 75 from Drex, right? But yeah, that's not bad right there. That is a pretty good and pretty decent build for hard Doom Tower, and this is where you're thinking Drex is going to be your lead in your team for hard Doom Tower waves, right? The next hard Doom Tower capable champ I've been doing is Seal of the Drakes. She's on Relentless set, 66k HP, 3.6k def, 210 speed. So the speed could be a little bit higher. Accuracy is on point, 300 accuracy. That's a great amount of accuracy to put on your hard Doom Tower capable champs. Seal is amazing. Everybody knows why Seal is so good. So one of the biggest questions that's going through your mind right now is, holy crap, why am I using Seal of the Drakes against Griffin boss when she can take turn meter away and that gives a stun out, right? And the short answer to that is, if your team can't shrug off a stun, you're not going to make it past Griffin boss on auto anyway. So your team has to be resilient enough to shrug off stuns, to shrug off getting a bunch of debuffs reflected to your team, getting all your buffs taken away. Your team has to be very, very resilient. So one way you can do that is with a lot of healing, and that's where Seal comes in. She has Relentless on, so you can go heal, 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 put decreased speed on, right? So that's really, really strong, right, for this particular thing we're trying to do. And then your block debuff champ doesn't need to be fast, but he needs to be resilient. Right, so my resiliency is coming in from Guardian set and Immortal set. So that is a 13% heal every turn, very close to a Regen set's 15% heal every turn. And then I absorb some damage from my other guys, right? 10% of the damage go to him. So yeah, and look at this. See, this is how easy it is to build Guardian set, honestly. When you're building for Guardian set, you don't really need crit rate or crit damage, because most likely these champs are like support utility type champs anyway. You just need speed. That's it. Any 5-star piece on this top row right here, weapon, helmet, shield, that rolls speed, that's key. Anything on this bottom row that rolls HP percentage or def percentage, even without speed, so I'm going to show you boots right now, no speed. Horrible stuff stats. Pretty bad, right? But still, it's a main stat HP percentage or def percentage, right? So you need one of those, because you need 4, right? So the top rows could be whatever. And then you need one bottom row piece that has HP percentage or def percentage. Doesn't matter if it has speed on it or not, preferably with speed though. That's it. That's how you gamble for the Guardian set, right? That's how you build for it. And honestly, let's take a look at my Underpriest Bogby stats real quick. So this is the same one I used for Clan Boss, right? So a lot of HP, 87k. A lot of def, 3.9k. Speed is 171 to 179, so he's at 172. That's where I want him to be. Accuracy, you don't need it. That's it. You don't need accuracy on this build, right? There are some things he does that would require an accuracy check. Probably the HP burn on his A1 and also the remove buff, I think, from his A2 does a remove buff. But other than that, it's perfectly fine to run Underpriest Brogni without accuracy, in my opinion, for most of the content you're going to be doing in the game. Anyway, so let's look at Iron Brago real quick, and then we're going to look at the Boss Killer champ. So Iron Brago is my damage mitigation champ. You need one in your team. This could be Duchess if you have Duchess, if you're lucky enough to get Duchess. But really, there are some epics that can do this pretty good as well. Somebody like an ally protect champ like Sandlash Survivor, who can also extend your buffs. Somebody like Toragi, who can also put poisons on. Somebody like Rearguard Sergeant, who could put decreased attack on. Things like that. You think about damage mitigation. So you want decreased attack, you want increased defense, you want ally protect, you want Veil. I think Veil is a good damage mitigation thing as well. Strengthen, right? So this slot is what you want to fill that with, right? So it's built for clan boss, 33k HP. That could be a lot higher, but I'm pouring in a lot on his def. 5,300 on defense to give me a passive, 540 defense for everybody, right? And then he can hit really, really hard. 100% crit rate and 200% crit damage with 250 accuracy to land those debuffs in Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. And then with Drexstar as the leader, he can also land some debuffs on Griffin Boss Hard. And finally, we're going to be looking at Rotos. And Rotos is, this is a safety Rotos build. So lots of HP. For a attack offensive type champ, that's a lot of HP, 36k HP. Doesn't really matter for Rotos because you're going to be able to buff up that HP with his A2 during the boss fight, right? And then the other part is crit rate, crit damage. You need 100% crit rate, over 200% crit damage. 99% crit rate's not really that important. The speed is 170 is kind of the minimum that you want. You want over 170. All right? And then attack, well, you can get attack as high as you can, but it's not really that important either. All right, so life steal set as well, right there, right? So that's it. You can actually fill that boss killer role with somebody like Ninja, right? And this Ninja is not built for hard Doom Tower. It's built for normal Doom Tower because that's what I use him on for my comps. Another one that's really, really good as a boss killer type champ is the new Dark Kale, honestly, if you can get that new Dark Kale on. Regular Kale is just fine as well. Frozen Banshee, of course, right? So all of these champs that you're going to be using as a boss killer has to have elite defensive stats along with a lot of accuracy. That's it. But a lot of accuracy, a lot of HP and def stats. Well, I'll see you guys.